You might not think it's possible to grow salad leaves in the depths of winter. Well, you can. And if you want to bag yourself some fresh, homegrown leaves during even the coldest months, now's your time to act. We'll look at what grows best, how to plant them, and if you haven't got much space, hey look, that's fine too, because salad leaves grow very well in containers. Now this little project is a great opportunity to repurpose old containers. You could use plastic or wooden fruit crates, lined wicker baskets, storage crates like these with holes drilled into the bottom of them for drainage. This is an old little wheelbarrow that my daughter used to use. That could be repurposed if it's lined and you've got holes drilled into them. What is important is that the tray is quite wide, and that means you can allow more space between the plants and there's more potting medium for the roots to explore. Now what I'm using today are these old stackable mushroom crates. What I love about these is they're just the right size for growing salad leaves. You can grow a range of salads in them. They're very widely available, often for free, if not very cheaply. And these are about, I would say, a foot or 30 centimetres wide, maybe 16 inches to 40 centimetres across, and about 4 inches or 10 centimetres deep. They're just the right size. All of the salads we'll be looking at today will grow well under some form of protection, and a few, such as claytonia and mash or corn salad, will grow well enough without it, if winters are mild where you are. I'll be growing mine undercover in the greenhouse to increase the chances of there being something to pick during even the darkest, coldest months. A cold frame makes an excellent alternative. It's compact in size and can be picked up very cheaply indeed, or you could even make your own. Just salvage an old window pane such as this and then pop it onto a frame made from bricks or cinder or breeze blocks, or just wooden planks held upright with bits of bamboo, and these can be as permanent or temporary as you like. But what if you don't have any outdoor space at all? Well, you could try growing your winter salad leaves indoors on a sunny windowsill. Even better if it's surrounded on 3 sides and perhaps with a clear transparent roof, such as you'd get in a sunroom or conservatory. They should crop well throughout the autumn, but as it gets really darker towards the middle of winter, they'll probably stop growing altogether. Now you can get them to continue cropping if you pop them under some grow lights, and you can pick up a set with LED lights pretty cheaply these days, which are also quite cheap to run. Since the trays I'm using are very permeable, they've got holes all over them, my first job is to line them. You could use a weave fabric, a light weave fabric for that, or just a couple of sheets of newspaper. Great, and with the trays now lined, it's time to fill them with our potting mix. And for this I'm using an all-purpose peat-free potting mix, to which I've added some soil-based mix as well. The soil-based potting mix does add a certain structure to it all, which will improve drainage and ultimately give stronger root growth. And at this time of year with poor light levels, it feels like the right thing to do. There we are. It's important to get it right into the corners and press it down so there's plenty there for the roots to explore. Level it off and then tap like that to get it nice and level, ready for planting. And there we have the trays nicely filled. They're filled right to the brim with the potting mix, and this may seem like a bit of an extravagance, but the more potting mix there is, the more there is for the roots to explore, and that means more harvests ultimately, which is crucial at this quite dingy time of year. Right, so the first tray we're going to plant up is of winter lettuces. Winter lettuce will give a lovely base to any winter salad with its beautifully smooth, creamy leaves with an incredibly mild taste and texture. And these were probably sown about a month ago, but they're a really good size for planting now. Look how healthy that is. So in they go, and at this time of year, early autumn, there's still quite a bit of warmth, and these cool season crops respond really well to that. So I'm planting them, what's that, about 6 inches or 15 centimetres apart in both directions. And that gives enough light and space for the plants to grow when it does get dreary. so they've got enough resources to draw on. And light is just as important as obviously moisture and nutrients from the potting mix. I'm going to plant some rockets. Give it a tap to settle. I'll grow these on the greenhouse bench and take the first picking probably as soon as 3 weeks. There'll be lots of pickings and then it'll slow right down as we get into the coldest months and then pick up again from the end of winter when the light levels improve, and that's crucial. And to harvest, I'll just pick off 1 or 2 leaves per plant at a time, leaving the central crown to grow on and form the next leaves. And it's important to not go too heavy with the picking when it's in the depths of winter, because the plant has to have enough resources to carry on growing. So that's our planted tray up there. For our second tray, I've chosen a mix of mustard and Mezuna, and they've got lovely spiciness to the leaves, but also the leaves are very interesting to look at. This one has beautiful red stems and really filigree leaves. It's really attractive. So I'm going to do half and half in this one, starting with our Mezuna. There we have it. And for our final tray, I'm going to be sowing some peas specifically for pea shoots. And pea shoots give that lovely, fresh taste of peas in the depths of winter. These have been soaking for about 4 or 5 hours. Ideally, you want to soak them overnight or even for 24 hours. And what that does is dramatically speed up germination. Soaking the peas really does help because obviously it speeds germination, but that is important at this time of year with the light levels and the temperatures dropping so quickly. You want them to germinate as quickly as possible to give them the best possible head start. Now I'm going to be sowing them about 3 seeds to each station, each position, about ½ an inch or a centimetre deep. So I'm going to start by sowing 3 at each of our 6 positions, just like we did when we were planting the grown salad seedlings. And then I'm going to sow 2 more clusters in between, if you like. You might think that's a very wide spacing for something like pea shoots, and you can see a clip here of my pea shoots back in the spring when they were sown, much denser. The thing is, in winter, with light levels being so poor and everything being a bit cooler, there's a greater risk of fungal disease. And to somewhat counteract that, I'm giving them a bit more space between them so that there's a better airflow and there's less chance of fungal diseases. I'll let these pea shoots grow up to around 8 to 10 inches, that's 20 to 25 centimetres tall, before I take my first harvest. And when I'll do, I'll cut off just the top few inches just above a leaf node, so I'm taking the top third or so of the pea plant. And by harvesting a little bit on the conservative side like this, there'll still be good plants that will have enough oomph behind them to produce the next set of pea shoots, and they'll grow away more and more vigorously as springtime arrives. So the final thing to do is to water all our plants and get them off to the best start. Just use a watering can fitted with a rose for this and go back and forth a couple of times to really give the potting mix a good soaking. You'll need to check in your trays regularly to make sure that they are moist enough, but you'll find that as it cools down and the light levels drop some more, that frequency of watering should drop to around once every 2 or 3 weeks even. Then, as soon as it starts to pick up in spring and the temperatures rise in the greenhouse, that watering frequency will also pick up as well. We've covered a few of my favourite winter salads, so here's a recap of what grows well when the temperatures dip and the nights draw in, along with a few other options you could try. Arugula or rocket, like other salad leaves in the brassica family, tends to bolt or flower prematurely in the heat of summer. No such problems at this time of year though. This hardy leaf should give a steady flow of peppery leaves. Mezuna produces stunningly feathery, almost filigree leaves with a mild peppery tang. They're great in salads, offering a lovely contrasting texture, or flash them off in the pan as a nutritious stir-fry green. Mustards come in all shapes and sizes, offering a range of colours and textures for zhuzhing up your salads. They have a warming flavour to complement their characterful appearance. Claytonia, winter purslane, miner's lettuce, whatever you call this super hardy winter leaf, it won't let you down, with plenty of lush, almost juicy leaves with a smooth, mild taste. Mash, also known as corn salad or lamb's lettuce, is another mild leaf that's also one of the most prolific. Expect lots of leaves to form the bedrock of any winter salad. Varieties of winter hardy lettuce can keep cropping during any mild spell in winter, then again from early spring. Winter lettuces are hardy, tenacious and tasty. Pick a hardy, tall-growing variety of pea that will naturally be more vigorous in growth. Pea shoots promise that sweet, super fresh pea taste in leaf form. Totally delicious and well worth growing, I can assure you. With summer's salads now over, I can't wait to tuck into this lot. It's such a thrill to be able to pick your own fresh leaves when it's dreary and cold outside. Now, what about you? What are your favourite winter leaves? Tell me down below, and be sure to give this video a big green thumbs up if you're inspired to try them too. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and for more winter savvy salads, please be sure to explore this playlist. I'll catch you next time.